Welcome to Lost in the Lakes. And this is a guide up Grizedale Pike. The walk starts off in a little village called Braithwaite, and there's a parking place just up the road at Winlatter Pass. You're driving up the road, just turn the corner and the car park is on the left hand side. Here's the car park on the left hand side here. Enough for about 8 vehicles. Obviously it fills up quickly, so get yourself an early spot. The walk starts just to the right of the car park here, and we've got public footpath to Grisdale Pike. Up the steep steps and then just basically follow the path up. Carry on up through the woods. This is March time at the moment, so the leaves are not on the trees yet, so this can get quite sort of overgrown sometimes, but it's usually quite good. This bracken here comes into the paths and everything, but it's such a well-used path, it's all right in summer as well. This first part of the path can sometimes get a little bit slippy on the route. It's a dry day today, but you can see the roots there, so just sort of step over them. They're not too bad, there's only a couple. But as you wind through here, you can look back over here. Even in summer, when all this is sort of grown, you can still see the Skidder range. You've got Ulloch Pike up there, leading on to Carlside, Skidder and Little Man in the background there. Little steep drop off to the right there. But if you keep your eyes on the path, it's all right. Again, all this in summertime, this is all grown a lot higher. You do get some nicer views this time of year, especially on days like this. Just zigzagging through the woods. To the right there, you've got Winlatter Forest. I believe there is a path somewhere up here that actually meets into that forest. So if you come up here and don't like the sight of Grisdale Pike, you can wander off into the woods. Okay, as you come into this point, this is where it sort of levels off a little bit. You can look back on Winlatter there, pan you around, and you can just see Braithwaite down in the valley. And then look at that. Views for days. Right, even though it's middle of March, we're still managing to get such lovely weather. Look at that, all the way around, blue skies. Right, we're coming up late in the day. The sun's not setting, but it's just over the side there. And usually if you're coming in the morning, you'll get a sunrise just over there. As we're coming up now, we're just coming to this little gate. So it's nice and easy for dogs. You don't have to lift your dog over. You can just go on straight through. And just after this gate, it just starts kicking up now. Pretty much, you can't really see it much, but it's almost towards that sun there. Don't go off to the path on the left here. As you can see, they've got erosion control. So just carrying up this wider path and straight up. In fact, it's actually a lot easier than through there. That's the old path and it was quite boggy. This one here is much better. I was saying, there's the little stile just there. That's where you can go off into Winlatter, or you can do the opposite. You can come from Winlatter onto that stile and across here and then up this path. So the path does split off into two. I like to take this first one. It's a bit steeper, but it gets you up to the next level section. So this mountains consists of steep level, steep level, steep level. And the crux is the last one, where you've got quite an exposed ridge, but nice and safe really. You're not going to go anywhere, so you can climb up, keep in the rocky bits. And I wouldn't say it's even a scramble, to be honest. It's just a steep path. If anyone's done Cat Bells, this is Barrowfell just here, but Cat Bells is just peeking over the top there. If anyone's been up there, it's very similar. just a little bit more exposure, and you're a bit higher up as well. So the chances of having a bit of wind is still quite high as well. Okay, you can see the paths a bit more clearly now. This is the one that comes up by the fence. And this is where it just starts to level off a little bit. And as we get around the corner here, we'll get to see Grisdale Pike. Now with the sun being where it's at, we'll probably see a silhouette. But if you come up in the morning, the sun will be behind you and you'll get a nice clear view. What I was saying about erosion, there's a path here that is well used still, and but we do have a sign here, erosion control, keep to main path, which is barriered this bit off, so please use the path by the fence. This levels off. There where the sun is Grisdale Pike. Now we can only just see a little bit of it, which is a shame, but if we turn around here, look at the views you can get if you come up later on. You can just see shadow there with the sun setting in Braithwaite. Over there you can just see Causey Pike poking out of the fells, Barra Fell just on the left there. This drops down a little bit now, and then don't be dismayed, you don't drop down too far on this, and then you start going up quite a steep little grassy path. As you're coming on here, you can actually see the Force Crag Mine walk just below you. And the path that takes you to Force Crag Mine, which you will see from the top. In fact, I think you can see it as you come over this bit here as well. We can actually see the summit of Grisdale Pike now. Now, when you get to here, don't be dismayed when you're looking up at that. I mean, it looks almost vertical, but it's not as bad as it looks. But you can always, if you're feeling like it, there is another little trod off to the right there, and you can get through into the wood. There's also one just up there, and I believe one a little bit further up there as well. Takes you onto the forestry tracks. You can get away. So if the wind is getting really bad at this point, veer off to the right into the woods and have a nice little wander around Windlatter. Okay, this is where it starts picking up the grassy slope, and then it levels off just on the horizon there, and then you walk along, and then you got your last little shoot up to Grisdale Pike. Right, this is it. This is where the kick up is, and yeah, time to get your big legs on. You just hear a helicopter in the background actually. Oh, I can see it. It's just above Robinson there. Yeah, it looks like it's going towards Scafell Pike. That's its usual place. Hopefully picking someone up, and hopefully they're not too injured. If you're finding it tough going on this grass, it can get quite slippy in the wet. Take these little steps, so much easier. So this is a case of it looks bigger than it actually is. It's steep up, but once you get to this little section here, you're still climbing up, but it's leveled off. It's not as steep as that first initial incline. And then when you get up to that little bit there, you get a bit of respite where it does actually level off. So far from Braithwaite, this has taken me about 1 hour so far. And I think we've got another potential hour as well. Got a big heavy backpack on me because I envisage camping up there. So I think a 2 hour walk from Braithwaite to the top of Grisdale Pike, and then we're probably talking maybe an hour and a half back. We're doing a loop over the top of Grisdale Pike and coming back down the back, Force Crag. That's the path there that comes down into the valley for the Force Crag mine path. Looking back on weather like this, you can see all the way through to the Pennines. It's getting a bit misty over that side. I'm not sure if it's going to stay clear, but when you're looking back here, you can normally see all the way to the Pennines on a nice clear day. So just coming up here, there's a little tiny step here, but this will give you an idea of what the scramble's like at the top. This is very similar sort of angle grade, and you'll know what the slippiness of the terrain will be like just on this little step here. Today it's nice and dry, it doesn't look much on the camera, but there is a little kind of rocky step that takes you onto this path here, and then onwards and upwards. That's just where it starts leveling off, right about there. Again, we've got another little rocky step. You could go up here, but if it's a bit slippy, you can hang a left here and keep in the little rutty bit here, and then you've got some nice steps here to climb up. Okay, as you're coming up over here, you can properly see the scramble now, and you can see it's not as steep. Nice little level bit here for a picnic if you wanted, and you can look over all of the western fells there. Little last push before you get level off, before the final little scramble to the top. This is a nice little ridge walk. It's a gentle incline, and then you've got the final climb. But here you can now start to see, if you're going to do Coaldale Horseshoe, you can see the treatment plant, Force Crag Mine. You can just see the edge of it there, and that just above there, that's Force Crag, and that's the path you would come down from the back of Grizedale Pike. So you're sort of right close to the edge here, and you can feel the wind. So usually you judge the wind off this ridge, what it'd be like on the top there. This is a little windy corridor. Like I say, you're right on the edge, so it's not too far off what it's like up there. That's if the wind's coming from the sides. If it's coming obviously from directly from the coast, which it usually is, you won't feel it until you get right over the top. Right, I've just had a subtle reminder of it's not summer yet, so the jacket's on. Wind's getting a little bit bitey, a little bit cold. Still got a big push to the top here, but just sit down here for a minute, and yeah, it was starting to get a little bit cold. Okay, so this is where it starts to steepen up again to the final push to the summit. Once you're up and over there, there's no false summit. There's a little push to the top, but nothing once you've just done this little section here. And again, it looks worse than it is. So just following the path, keeping to the left on this section, just up these steps. Try not to look down that way if you're a bit uneasy on your feet. That section there seems the easier one, but if it's greasy, it's always better following the steps. As you look down to the left there, you can see Force Crag Mine and Force Crag just in the middle of the picture there, and that big path coming down to the left of it. Okay, this section here, I tend to stick to the right on this one. Seems to be the easier path, and today this takes us out of the wind, but we're getting a good easterly wind there. You can just see right in the middle of the picture there, the top of Cat Bells, Causey Pike. Go over to the right, and in the distance there, you've got right over there, you can just see Great End and Scafell Pike. As you come to this first little sort of section, there's two ways you can go. You can go off on this little ledge here and follow the path up and round, or you can go to the right here and then up that little section there. Because the wind's pushing this way, I'm going to go off to the right here and just climb up that little bit. There's a little path that takes you back on itself. Okay, just after that, stick on the path on the right hand side there, just a little bit easier. Okay, once you've done this little section here, it opens out a bit more now, and then you want to be sticking more to the right. The path just goes up off to the right there. Little slabby section here can get pretty wet, pretty slippy in the wet. So if you stick to this little section here, and then it'll guide you up to the path that's just off over there. Just making your way up here. This here is quite muddy now. It's funny how this changes. There must have been a bit of a bad weather and it's made this section quite muddy. But if you keep up onto the left, and then you've got a little step there, and then the path goes off to the right. And when you've hit that, you know you're really near the top now. We've done that little section now. Looking up here now, where it starts to get a bit grassy. You want to be going up towards this little metal fence post. Once you get there, take a left on up to the summit. There's the summit. Just peeking over to the left there. We've got a little bit of a sunset. There we go, reaching the summit just before sunset. And look at the views you get on a clear day. Just a little bit hazy today, just because it's a bit late on. But look at that, right out to the coast. You can just see Scotland poking through on the other side of the channel there. And this is the summit of Grizedale Pike. This has been Lost in the Lakes, and we'll see you in the next one.